Hello guys, welcome to our first agency webinar that we will repeat every Wednesday. Currently we are in European time. We also have webinars for Pacific time to catch our North American, Canadian, Latin American partners and also New Zealand and Australia. Before we get some questions in comments if you have any, or jump to QA session, I will briefly outline the three agenda items that we have. The claim that we know how you can save $500,000 on your first PWA project, on any PWA project. Second is how to get started your PWA projects on ScandiPWA in a matter of days, training. And third is a pricing for enterprise, for commercial versions of Magento. So let's start, and then we have a case study, examples, and question and answers time. So let's start with the first, $500,000. What's the claim? The claim is that just like Magento has been saving you, well, your customers, all the ecosystem, millions, if not billions of dollars to date, with a code base that is, well, number one in terms of being feature rich and open source. The same way ScandiPWA works. We have invested about 1 year in a team that have two key people, two co-founders, and then it averaged up to 5 or sometimes 10 people. To research, experiment, get feedback from agencies, from merchants, from Magento masters, from other community members, and then eventually figure out architecture, set it up, and then grow the meat of the features on ScandiPWA product. The claim is based on, I think it was Forrester Research that was telling that, well, PWA is cool, but you might need substantial upfront cost because there are no really ready products. This upfront cost could be $500,000. And there is no guarantee that the solution will be right, that bots will be able to index your page, that all the SEO details will be taken in account, 301 redirects will work, and especially when you consider a migration from M1 to M2. So the contribution to Magento community is feature-rich ScandiPWA theme. We essentially have rewritten Magento frontend in React, following progressive web app pattern and paradigm with a service worker, offline, local browser caching, IndexedDB, local storage. We are using Magento out-of-the-box GraphQL endpoints. Currently, a lot of e-commerce platforms are opening up for connection to unlimited storefronts, be it smart mirror or a standard device, through GraphQL endpoints. And Magento has done a really great job in picking up GraphQL as a technology. It's relatively fresh, but the trend is very strong upwards. The frontend is written in React. So just to illustrate, what does it mean? It means that any of the extensions on Magento 2 that touch frontend will not work. Anything backend is working because we are not altering database. We are not creating any middleware that stores anything important for you. It's the same database, the same backend. So all kind of reporting or export extensions will work. At the same time, return merchandise authorization, for example, will not. Why? Just to illustrate the point, well, because the extensions in Magento, they used to kind of hook on DI.XML to register them in appropriate places. So when request flow is triggered, we know that, okay, this class is extended by that, so eventually we have to put this functionality. And then Magento frontend has a convenient container or block-based structure where you can connect and extend it with your functionality. Well, the same React has. we're about to launch to release an extension mechanism for ScandiPWA React theme, but even if it's there, the extensions made for Magento 2 usual frontend, like think about Lumia 10 theme, will not work because React frontend simply does not know about anything that you want to put there. So to make it work, you don't need to change anything with database, anything with backend. You just have to create a new view layer. So Magento is MVC, model view controller. So you just have to care about view layer, extending or creating your own React component and integrating it in ScandiPWA theme. So that's just to put in perspective of what does rewriting a theme in React means. It means that, well, it means that, what is the most popular what we ask? Okay, I have a gift card extension, will it work? No. Points extension? No. Marketplace? None of extension will work? No. Situation will change in about 2 to 3 months. This month we plan to open a marketplace. We will move the functionality that is currently part of ScandiPWA, such PayPal payments, Stripe payments, Klarna payments, Braintree, shipping methods. We will move them to extensions, showcasing how it can be done. Somebody is calling. Need a link. Hello? Yeah. Okay, es varu atzvanīties tagad vienkārši vadu webināru. Okay? Yeah, paldies. So we expect ourselves first to make examples of extensions, and then we have extension providers already working. Well, some are already made their extension compatible with ScandiPWA, like block extension. They created GraphQL endpoints, and there will be more. So the first claim, again, currently there are several options how you can create your PWA project for your customers. How I say, do your own research, check the feature list that they support, and keep in mind that Magento has been working on their frontend for years, and it has, I would say, hundreds, if not thousands of features, and especially if you take into account configuration. For example, you can restrict certain countries from your checkout. Your category page might have different display settings. It can be just a static block plus products, or just products. This and much more, like such things like layered navigation, which attributes will be shown there. We are following Magento backend configuration. So if you tell these attributes are part of layered navigation, they will appear there. And then you can set up their orders. In grouped products, you can set up the order of appearance of the products that part of the group. In galleries, you can set up the order of the images. So we are respecting to the full extent Magento backend configuration. And this is a challenge when you are rewriting a front end from scratch. So make sure that you pick up a right PWA product for your customer. And our claim, our belief, why we are working on this project, and I would say even like more and more with every day, is that we believe that ScandiPWA is making PWA for Magento specifically. We focus only on Magento. We want to do one thing, but exceptionally well, where it depends on us, and also make it. Magento community is huge, and it's really great to be part of it. And recent Meet Magento India meetup to have such a warm reception and such excitement, because we also see that it becomes very well adopted by Magento community, because they see the excitement of being able to work with a modern tech stack on the front end, be very creative and be unbound. Because well, it's a new paradigm of development. So we are, how to say, we are detaching completely front end from Magento. So you're free to do anything while it's still tightly integrated. So for example, such things as 301 redirects, CEO things, you still can manage them from the backend. So it's detached on terms of given your creativity. At the same time, all the power of Magento is with you. And we believe it advances you way further than anybody else choosing any other solution. So that's our claim, that's our work, that's our mission. To make sure that Magento ecosystem is the most PWA-ed. Well, there is a theme. And the next question is, how can we start working with it? That's a second part of our mission. We want to make sure that community can easily adapt this new, exciting tech stack. React, Redux, GraphQL. We plan to have a heavy stream of webinars, and every Friday, front-end lead Alfred is with you in the same community sessions format, explaining things, answering to your questions. Well, he's also in Slack, but we'll create a much more comprehensive installation guides, troubleshooting, and how to say, from the very ground up explanation. Because some developers, they really love the product, their customers want PWA, but they haven't happened to work with Docker. So we will provide more details on this tooling as well. Because ScandiPWA, we generally provide you infrastructure setup. So it's several containers, it's Webpack, MySQL, PHP with Magento, Redis, and Varnish. And it's all there set up. But we want much more granularity in this process and to have answer for any issues that our community has reported so far. So we will make an entry as easy as possible. Further, we will release to partner agencies education materials, training materials for your teams. In our experience, will be about 250, and we have had experience with both Vue and React. With Vue, we have created advanced configurators for automotive industry. With React, these were a few custom-made startups, and ScandiPWA itself. When we onboard a team to the project, I would say it requires some initial consultancy, and then these teams use hours of core PWA team to guide them through the process. So that's also something we suggest you to consider when you have especially your first PWA project, because we see many PWA projects in progress, and we really suffer that they cannot really take the whole ambition, the whole advantage of PWA in terms of performance. We are ready to help. The guys are focusing on the roadmap and Slack and documentation, but the team is large, so generally when a partner agency needs a consultation or needs a code review or architectural conversation or some, I would say, like some pair programming experience, they are available. They are happy to help, and they are available because we want to showcase really outstanding performance shops. So our next steps, we advance with, we help adoption by providing training and education materials, maybe some tests. Eventually, we plan to have a certification, front-end ScandiPWA certification. So it's easier for you as agency managers, owners, team leads to help your teams, to help your developers to see, okay, that's the goal. Okay, that's exam. Let me study for it. Here are educational materials. And this is how React knowledge will penetrate the Magento ecosystem. Because honestly speaking, this is alien tech stack, and we also put it, say when we go to conferences, meetups, we put it as a first thing in terms of a challenge for an agency. That it's awesome, you want to be a leader, your customers want to be leaders, and especially if they re-platform or plan their next 5-year strategy in a few years, they want to be mobile first. Mobile first is PWA. Whatever solution you look into to get advance in performance, in user experience, it's different front-end stack. Well, ScandiPWA as such it used to be a branch, now it's kind of getting completely separate from ScandiWeb. ScandiWeb has React teams and Vue.js teams for hire. There's dedicated developers if you need some hands-on help. At the ScandiPWA, we are not delivering any products. We are delivering consultancy, education, architecture, and product itself. So we can help your teams, and our founders, they can help you with some heads and hands. They can help you hands-on with your project. So expect February, March to receive a very comprehensive guidebook on how to work with React Redux GraphQL within ScandiPWA solution. Third question concerns community. It's a pricing for commercial versions. ScandiPWA is compatible with cloud. We're working on a few projects in Magento Commerce Cloud. So we figure out the deployment, like how to build it. It doesn't require any, any complications. You don't need to request any new software or setup or alter your deployment script, so it works. And also there are commerce features that needs to be covered, like gift cards and points, this page builder. These are in progress. And within a few weeks, latest end of this month, you're welcome to consider it already there, or reach out to us to get some previews or some intro on this package. Well, it will be the same ScandiPWA product. It will just have a paid pack of extensions. Because Magento, some of these features are already covered by GraphQL, which are not. We are covering them ourselves, creating GraphQL endpoints and creating UI components, React components, to render them on the front end, to let user have a gift card type of product and also enter their gift card to see the balance in my account. The same with points. Now we're also looking at what Magento has released as an open source in PWA Studio. If we can rewrite it, of course, it will be free to use. It's already done, so we'll just maybe make some adjustments, because they're using React and we're using React and Redux, so it's pretty easy to ensure certain compatibility with a little effort. We are getting to be able to provide some revenue stream for the team and enable commerce part of solutions to have the same fast and performant ScandiPWA solution out of the box. There will be paid packs with commerce features and installation guide and additional code snippets to make sure that it works on Commerce Cloud. If you are on premise, well, there's also some snippets to make sure that it's compatible with commerce version. What else we got? We got a case study to review. From day to day, we will announce a major worldwide company that you will be very excited has chosen ScandiPWA for their replatforming, and they already scheduled to have to be speakers about this case in a conference in Europe. As a case study, we have been sharing recently with Magento community is Technodom.kz. It's a mid-Asian leading retailer with revenue approaching 1 billion from offline and online channels. They have about 10,000 square meters of offline space and online contributing around 20-25%. So they have been thinking about kind of radical growth strategy in their region and converting themselves in the marketplace, planning to be mobile first and inevitably looking into PWA. They did their research, ScandiPWA, contacted a partner closest to them, and we have been as consultants and code review part of solution. Because, well, teams run into issues when, the same as with Magento, how many years Magento 1 took to understand how you need to extend it.
P2P.
And Magento 2, after release, well, it took some time. So the same happens now. Feel free to request help. The consultants are available. They're hands-on guys who did certain modules. They did theming, so they did also performance optimization, caching, and well, it's really good to see performance sides, and it's really good for the customers to kind of repose the benefits of ScandiPWA, especially conversion rate. So this case study, we launched it, I think, some weeks before Black Friday. We stress tested it on some 500 requests per second, and it worked flawlessly. They have a high load in terms of 35 stores and 60,000 products, so it's around, like, if you even multiply, it's about 2 million records that are constantly updated. The stores sell throughout the country, online sell something, stocks, prices, updates, so there is a content stream of data into Magento. And we showcase also so it's omnichannel solution, so we showcase also the stocks, real-time stocks across all the stores. So Magento is constantly re-indexing itself, and PWA, to make sure it's fast, it caches the data. So whenever something changes, of course, this data is invalidated. So this 500 requests per second, I would say about 10% of them are write requests. It's like add to cart or checkout. And about another 10% is cache miss request. And well, it's still stable. We are sure that we are serving up-to-date information on stocks and prices. This is definitely available because the ScandiPWA teams, they figured out how to introduce a caching layer between Magento database that, well, you know how it works. It takes some seconds. You need to wake up the entire Magento, entire request flow to get something if it's not cached. So it can be 1 second, 2, 3, up to 5 seconds. But once it's done, it should be stored. Magento stores on the level of template in Varnish. We use the same Varnish, persistent query, but we just store data response. So with, this store showcases that a high-load enterprise-grade solution is working. Their CEO is perfect. They have been growing. Conversion rate increased about 24.9%. Smaller merchants increased their conversion rate 3 times. Questions and answers. The first in WhatsApp. Okay. So the first, let's see. Product bundles. We see agencies, especially from Indian region, interested in this feature. So we think that it might be that we'll see a contribution from there in terms of bundles. Bundle products, custom option products. One way or another, I think it will be there in Q1, latest Q2. We started with configurable and simple. We added grouped, and now virtual products. So products that doesn't have a checkout. I mean, shipping step. It has checkout, just doesn't have shipping step. So bundles will come after we launch extension mechanism and marketplace, because bundle is important thing, but with extension mechanism we will unblock dozens of extension providers who want their extensions to be compatible with ScandiPWA, but right now there is no stable mechanism. We introduce it, we make sure it's stable, we see extensions at work, and then we go on the default Magento functionality roadmap. So that's about bundles. And another question is about installation. I'm very new to this and can get proper instruction from anyone. There is definitely an entry point, certain learning curve. I would say it's like dozens, 100 times less than if you would try to set up PWA store for your customer just out of the box using some other tools. At the same time, our current installation guides are far from perfect. So within these next weeks, we will make them, how to say, like our acceptance criteria is that we want just to come to a project manager who is not coder, and he or she should be able to set it up. So we want to account for all the issues people have, but it will not replace anyway an introduction to React, introduction to GraphQL and Redux and Docker. So there are certain prerequisites for developers to be able to not just set it up, but also to continue customization and extension. Good news is that we are polishing currently a solution. We call it PWA Cloud, ScandiPWA Cloud, that will allow you to get your installation in the cloud in a matter of minutes. We're using Kubernetes technology. Next Thursday we'll have another webinar meetup on this, so we'll also share it with ScandiPWA community. Kubernetes is a technology by Google, open source some 6 years ago, used to power hundreds of containers on production. Slack, Shopify, Airbnb, Tinder use this technology on production. We use it too to help you set up PWA in the cloud. Kind of playground store for free. You still can write to hello@scandipwa.com. Just write, can you give me my store, please? We will be happy to deliver. You will get a URL for frontend with backend and admin access to see how ScandiPWA, how to say, maps with the backend. How does it respect all the backend settings? This week we already managed to let you also have your Git repository with Magento community version and ScandiPWA open source. So you can make changes to this code and our auto-deploy script will deploy it right to the cloud. So you definitely need a local setup to work on it, to introduce changes to the code, but you don't need to worry about neither development, nor staging, nor pre-live or integration environments and live. For those who will need this, we will provide PWA optimized environment for easier setup on external infrastructure. We'll do our best to explain, to make the entry barrier as little as possible for your local setup, and for external infrastructure, we'll make it for you. So we'll have all the deployment scripts and all the, how to say, images and builds for you to work on it. And there's a customer portal, you can invite more users to your GitHub. So our mission is to make PWA, to make Magento ecosystem the most successful by introducing PWA storefront. What else? Have we got anything more? I want to install this on new dedicated server. So what will be first step to install? Well, it's generally supplied in Docker containers. So similar to, you only don't need Webpack because it will function for you there. This question is best on Friday for Alfreds, because Alfreds sincerely believes that all the questions are in the docs. So first of all, we have docs.ScandiPWA.com, and they have around like up to 100 pages that describe both the structure and coding standards and principles, and also infrastructure setup. Let me... So just if you open ScandiPWA in the main menu, there is docs link, you open it, and unfortunately in the very bottom, so they have PWA term, they have Docker setup, requirements, how to start, useful CLI, command line interface commands. And you also have getting started demo setup video by Ilya Lapkovsky. And then SIM structure overview by Alfreds. And SIM customization, well, you need to customize it sometimes. So documentation is there, but we have to work more on it to make sure that you have as little of such questions as possible. We also prioritized Slack channel in the main menu, so welcome there. There is community 24/7. Somebody's in Europe, somebody's in India, somebody's in Australia, Brazil, North America, Canada, and well, they were enthusiasm. There is high enthusiasm there, so they're happy to help and grow ScandiPWA adoption worldwide. Do you use the same containers for Kubernetes you have on GitHub, or maybe you have different configuration for containers for live? It's also a good question for Alfreds. I would assume by now that it's different configuration. Good thing is that what you will have in Kubernetes, you can take it and migrate anytime. So there is no vendor lock, so this configuration is not somehow embedded somewhere where you cannot get it. You get access to your code, to your data, to your application, so you can migrate anywhere. I heard that community has contributed some infrastructure setup guides for those who don't want to run production on Docker. So, Alex, have you seen something on that, on contribution in terms of server-side setup on production? No. No? Okay, so well, we clearly have to make two things. First, Kubernetes will work for you, and you're welcome to request your instance. Well, actually, even today, right now, just write to hello@ScandiPWA.com, just indicating you want to have just Magento platform there, or you also want to access the repository. Well, apparently we have more hands-on people here that can't wait Friday. So request access to Git repository, we'll provide it. We'll provide you with this instance. Then you indicate your GitHub name, so you get access there. You can invite, I think, well, that's just one collaborator so far. And then you will see it for yourself. And hopefully you will be happy with, well, and if not, just tell what you want more, we'll deliver. But eventually we'll be happy with cloud setup on live, because we are scheduling quite high-load projects there, enterprise-grade projects to be hosted there in Kubernetes. We're impressed with this technology already for, I think, second year, 2 years. We use it on, we use it for our development environments. Well, of course, well, we use it as we don't host like Kubernetes cluster per se. We're using Amazon Kubernetes solution. And we are running there our containers for development teams. Development staging it is there. And we had good success with some ScandiPWA. We have good presence of running it on live as well. So there is a big chance we will simplify running ScandiPWA with Magento in Kubernetes Cloud, as well as providing you development staging pre-live integration environment there. And it will be all self-service. So you just indicate which environments you need, you get them. And there's a fair consumption. You see how much CPU, how much RAM you are using, or you can cap it. well, we are providing you with a namespace in Kubernetes, and you run their pods, container per pod. It respects, I would say, limits per pod, or it can be no limits. So if you need to scale, you will get it. Containers install. Yeah, Magento and Docker, these things were not really a part of everyday life of Magento community. I think only recently, some like maybe 2-3 years ago, we started to pick up. I think now it's kind of last moment. And I think it's a great opportunity, because if you step if you step backwards, maybe there is no Docker. Maybe there is no even Git. But if you live present moment and you look further for your career advancement, there is Docker, there is Kubernetes, there are much more things. And there is definitely reactive front ends, progressive web apps. I personally believe that progressive web app is a new standard of internet. Just think about how we can reduce the bandwidth, all the data traffic that is happening right now, by sending just data. Okay, so just to summarize, I hope I could shed some degree of belief that you indeed can save at least $500,000 for your customers by using ScandiPWA, because it's feature rich and you can manage these features from Magento backend. We also will be very focusing on training materials, so your teams can get started in a matter of days on ScandiPWA. And we are here to help. ScandiPWA doesn't develop. We are product team, we are focusing on product, but we want to drive adoption by consultants and understanding what are your needs, because the best insights on what we have to deliver in terms of documentation we get working with agencies on their projects, or meeting with them and making together certain architectural decisions on how their whole ecosystem will run and will send data to ScandiPWA frontend. So we are there supported commercial pack that will cover certain commerce features, and there will be more, as well as installation guide for commerce on-premise and commerce in Magento Commerce Cloud. So we are inclusive of both community and commerce versions, because we want to involve all the Magento community in this excitement of building a new generation of user experience for Magento customers. What else? Bundles, custom options, they're coming. There are a few agencies who wanted to contribute, so that's why we're not rushing. Well, if something will not work out there, it will be Q2. Because first we want to launch a marketplace and extensions, because then you will not just get bundles, you will get dozens of useful features for your customers. Installation. I would say a half a year ago it was not such a pain, because there was not so much interest, because we still were completing the product. So it worked well as a proof of concept, but there was no even payment method integrated. Once we got it, once people saw that, wow, there is extended PWA user manual, when we see almost all of Magento features supported. And not just, okay, they are there, but you can manipulate them from the backend. So your front-end team, your PWA team, is configurable from the same Magento backend. How awesome is that? And then, of course, there are many questions, because there are hundreds of people setting up Magento and ScandiPWA every day, and we get at least dozens of questions. I assume that about 20-30% asking questions. There is no, so there are. And yeah, we'll switch our focus now from product development to helping to adapt. And Docker. Yeah, there are certain minimum prerequisites. Docker, React, Redux. Some understanding of GraphQL and Varnish. And again, make a first project with the help of ScandiPWA consultants. You need maybe 2-3 times less time for your second, and for your third you don't need anything. You already will have this competence. Well, that's how it works already. And I think that's the best way to learn during the work project. Kubernetes. Yeah, Kubernetes is a big thing, so you'll definitely learn more once it's released. By now, welcome to request your Magento instance and your GitHub repository by emailing to hello@scandipwa.com. Alexander, that's it?
One more question.
One more question, okay.
Configurable products will work on front-end, like color, size selection.
Yeah. Configurable products. They have been working on front-end for about, I think, a year already. So we released it like more than a year. So for configurable products, this was the first we started to work with. So color selection, size selection, you can set up. Do you want image swatch, hex swatch, text-based swatch? It will appear in layered navigation. If you in layered navigation choose you want middle blue, then you see products that match middle and blue, medium size and blue color. Then when you open it, it's already pre-selected. If you open it without choosing anything in layered navigation, in category, well, you see also some previews of colors that are there. Just open demo.scandipwa.com, open any category, you will see there. There are color previews, you open, add to cart is active because it's call to action, we don't want to disable. You hit it, the page will scroll to the options, they will start moving, kind of vibrating, and there will be a message, please select your configuration. We saw some projects with 3 configuration options. It's not limited. So it works exactly in Magento frontend. Configurable products are fully supported. Configurations are there, and I think that's the feature that has survived like the most of implementation. So it's very stable. You can confidently rely on it. And yeah. All these selection options you can also see on site. They also can be configured like just hex color images or images or text swatches. Yeah, so we are good. Yes, it will work. And if you have more questions, we also have a chat on ScandiPWA. Just chat anybody. Usually we reply instantly, or we leave your email. We'll reach you out in a few hours. I will also see tomorrow those who want to talk about ScandiPWA from merchant perspective. So Wednesdays are for agencies, Thursdays are for merchants, and Fridays are with Alfred. It's a Friday with Alfred. Alfred is committing to spend the best part of his Friday with you, talking about technology, answering all the questions on local setups, and thus also learning what we have to include in our documentation. Thank you guys for coming there. See you tomorrow or next week. Please use our question sheet. We will be replying to them both on site in FAQ, and also will better prepare for our streams. See you again. Bye bye.